I wasn't planning on doing a reading tonight, technically. Usually I do my readings in the morning and not on Sundays. I do them during the week. But I was in the middle of doing something else, just winding down Sunday night, and everything kind of shut down. And literally my gaming console shut off. And I kind of sat there for a minute trying to restart it, and Spirit was like, no, there's a reason that you can't restart it. There's a reason that we just shut it down. And then I got this image of myself going into my office and sitting down and doing a reading. And that's how Spirit will show me something. Often I will see myself doing something before I do it. And that's how Spirit is basically giving me the idea, or in a sense, showing me the future of what is going to happen in alignment with the guidance that I receive. So here I am. So I wrote down some messages for whoever this message is for. Spirit has channeled out several different things. I don't know if these topics are connected. They're not connected to anything that I was channeling from before that I was intending to do a reading on later in the next upcoming week. And it's not necessarily even synchronicities that they've been showing me for the last few days. So maybe those things will come up, maybe not. I don't know. But the message here that they want me to report on to you, whomever the viewer is that was called to this reading, is as follows. The first channeled message was the episode is over. That's what I heard. And they really emphasized the word episode. And so I started kind of thinking about what an episode is or could be. So it can be an episode of a show, an episode like an experience that you've had. It can be referring to a health symptom. I had an episode of this, like a flare up of this symptom, whether it's physical or mental. And then I was like, ooh, this could even be talking about a trigger event, like an episode, something that's triggering or something that's highlighted. And then they had me put an underline as if a blank space came after that idea about the trigger event. It was like a blank space. And it felt like there was something there that needed to be filled in, but I wasn't given anything about what that was. So I just moved on because as soon as I started thinking about what could fill that space, I heard a highly charged situation. And again, they emphasized a specific word in the sentence, and this time it was charged. So I'm like, okay, a charging of a device. That was what I was shown initially. It was like plugging in a controller to charge it or plugging in a device to charge it. I just saw somebody plugging in their phone to charge it right as they're watching this video. That's going to be for one person, very specific. Or maybe you just plugged your phone in right before jumping into this reading. That could just be confirmation for you. But it could also have to do with the literal charging of something in your life that gives you a sense of control, or the not having that thing charged doesn't. Now I'm seeing an EV, electric vehicle, and it's like, if it's not charged, you don't have the control to go where you want to go. So you better make sure that thing is charged. And it's the same thing about whatever they're talking about here, which we're going to get more information as we go along. And then I was thinking about charging and what that is. Well, it's electrical energy flowing through the system, and what that relates to charging something up, how it retains charge, how it's able to use that electrical energy and to express that. But anyway, then I was like, okay, charge can also refer to like a criminal charge or pressing charges, something being charged. I'm also realizing, I didn't write this down, but something being charged, like they're showing me a debit card, like tapping a debit card or a credit card. Just charge it, or you're charging it like that. They are showing me a bank account increasing, something about inflation. And there's some other stuff that may be related to that in the rest of the messages that I've written down here, but I'm not going to get ahead of myself. So let me rewind it and keep it right here where we're at. Rewind the controller, rewinding something, having the control. I'm seeing that movie. What was it called? The one with Adam Sandler, where he had the controller that could turn back time, or that could pause like real life. Anyway, and then with pressing charges, as soon as I wrote that one down, I heard laying fault bare. Laying fault bare. So something is being exposed after the episode is over of this highly charged situation. So something is coming to be known by you, especially as it was hidden behind closed doors, because this goes into the next thing that they said. I heard substandard and inquiry, or inquiry, whatever. I wrote down below a certain threshold for standards that must be met. And then they were showing me examples in my mind of like a restaurant getting a C rating versus a D rating. And then the quality of that food and whether the restaurant can stay open. And then they were also showing me references to, like in school, the difference between a C and a D. C is passing, though it's, kind of bare minimum. And then D is you've failed in some way and it's not going to work. And they said an inquiry at work. So this could be in regard to a work situation, a highly charged work situation that was an episode of time in your life that made things really difficult for you. Maybe you weren't even sure why this was, because what they showed me was that something I'm being corrected here, something is currently being looked into on your behalf that was going on behind the scenes. And when I heard behind the scenes, they showed me a door that was closed. It was like behind closed doors. And it was not working to your, and I quote, standard of living, whatever that means. And it's interesting because then the next message that came through was becoming the realest one in the room. And then they said the realest in the land. I just thought that was kind of funny because it was like the realest in the land. Anyway, and then my mind went to something about real estate, the realist, real estate, the real estate, and that you are able to own or control in some way. And maybe this is connected to charges and connected to inflation or something connected to work. I don't know how all of these pieces fit together yet, but they showed me somebody owning the room, like confidently owning the room, or maybe literally owning the room, because we're talking about this message in regard to real estate, versus showing the room. And they were showing me a real estate agent showing a house to someone. They're not showing them their house. They're showing them a house that has been staged. So the difference here is being highlighted for some reason in this message regarding what you are able to see about an experience that was a highly charged situation, something you didn't see that was going on behind the scenes that was substandard. And now you coming into awareness of it, being shown that, and being able to show up in that and own something or be confident in something, or to get over something and be finally able to move on and settle down. Because when I think about purchasing a house, I think about having that stability, that security, that ability to kind of have peace of mind. Peace of mind. That's actually a synchronicity I was being shown over the weekend. Peace of mind. Okay, so where would you like me to go from here, Spirit? Are we going to pull cards? Do you want me to scribe? What do you want me to do? We're just going to go in with some decks, they said. Okay. Like this one. Nine of Swords from a different deck that I was not intending to pull from, but it was just kind of stuck to the back of this. The Nine of Swords here. Stress, anxiety, worry. Post-traumatic actually is what I just heard. Post-traumatic. The Nine of Swords can talk about post-traumatic stress because it's literally stress that's occurring in your head. The event or the episode is over, but it's still playing out internally, or it's still being processed, or it's keeping you up at night, or it's haunting you in this way. And I'm hearing rest easy resting in peace, not in like the death sense, or maybe the death is representative here of this episode being over, the ending. And I just heard in spite of, the ending in spite of some kind of an attempt. I just heard attempt on your life, and I don't know if that is literal or if that is sort of like a metaphor for what this felt like or how threatening the situation was. I don't know. But that Nine of Swords here is just kind of, it's rubbing me the wrong way a little bit. Not that the card is wrong in any way or that energy is wrong. It's just, yeah, there was something going on behind the scenes, again, behind closed doors. Maybe this was something that was occurring that you felt challenged by behind the scenes, or felt like you had to keep to yourself, that you couldn't speak openly about this in some way. But then once the event is over, you're able to own it in some way, or you're able to get out of that same situation. I'm just going to keep going because I feel like we need context to understand what this message is even talking about here. Believe in yourself. See yourself doing well, and you will. Believe in yourself. See yourself doing well, and you will. The episode is over. Something from the past that was really, really stressful or toxic, or that you had a really hard time dealing with, is over. And it's not that Spirit is kind of like pushing you to move on from it. It's more like they want you to have awareness of your own confidence, or the confidence that you have been or will be developing or are developing. And that you can trust that confidence and you can charge that up and move forward with that sense of purpose or control, but not from like a grasping sort of external control, compensating or overcompensating for a lack of that feeling inside. It's more, it's like an actual feeling of confidence and security that then creates that control. And it's through this belief in yourself, especially if you dealt with this highly charged situation in a way that made you trust your ability to handle difficult things, right? Like sometimes we are challenged in life. Like this is life. We get challenged with things that are difficult, that are uncomfortable, that are painful, that are awkward, that cause us to doubt ourselves in the moment, but then in dealing with it on the fly, even we're able to, Pegasus, the flying, in the card here, on the fly, we're able to overcome the challenge, get over the obstacle, and feel better about ourselves as a result. It's not always the case. Maybe with this Nine of Swords being here, it's like instead you didn't feel like you did a good job at it. Maybe this is you judging yourself and saying, I'm reviewing these past events and I feel like I could have done better, substandard, low quality. Like it doesn't meet your standard of living, literally like how you choose or intend to live your life. And this episode, but what Spirit is showing me is like the episode is over. It was a highly charged situation and something was going on behind the scenes that you didn't see. But you are being tasked with reviewing this, I want to say, in a healthier way. So instead of like beating yourself to death about it and getting in your head and overanalyzing, I feel like there's an encouragement here to be analytical, to analyze it, but to not let that control how you feel about yourself, or to sap your charge. Okay, it was like drain. Okay, so not allowing that to drain you of your confidence or of your ability to show up and own the room. Yeah, they're saying not doubting yourself. I do feel like there was something that was out of your hands or something that you didn't see going on. And that could have contributed to the way that you believed that you contributed to this episode or this event. Like you thought, well, oh, if I could have done this better, maybe this would have turned out differently. But there was something that you didn't see. What is that? Okay, we have the practice card. The best way to be good at a skill is to practice, practice, practice until you get it right. Okay, believing in yourself, practicing, going over and over and over something to finally figure it out is what this kind of feels like to me. Rewatching the same episode over and over and over to try and understand what it meant or what caused a series of events or this charged situation to unfold the way that it did. It feels like there's a replaying of something, but I still feel like there's something that was going on behind the scenes that was out of your hands. And the practice card didn't really answer that for me, so I'm going to get this one. Happy surprise. Something very good is about to happen. And there's this unicorn outside the window. It's like something was going on behind the scenes on your behalf. It's like to help you to see the reason for this occurrence. Like, why did this happen? What did this mean? What was this teaching me? What was I trying to practice here? I feel like there was someone on the other side of this. Something about duality being significant here. There was somebody on the outside of this situation, and you, oh no, they said you were on the outside looking in. And they're showing me you on the outside of this window looking at yourself. Kind of reminds me of like an out-of-body experience, or you just observing yourself or analyzing the self in this way. Have you been hard on yourself here? Because I feel like if you're practicing something, you're not going to get it right every time. The practice is not the mastery. Masters still have to continue to practice to maintain that level of skill, but to get to mastery of something, you have to practice and fail many, many times over. So I kind of feel like you're making a decision on behalf of yourself. I'm kind of seeing like the higher self stepping in here and saying, we're not going to keep berating ourselves or debating what could have happened or what we should have done. We're just going to kind of face ourselves and lay it bare, like face this truth, but not placing the fault where it's not due, like where it shouldn't be yours to bear if this was out of your control. I still don't know what we're like really talking about here. I haven't gotten the story really down yet, so I'm curious about what this is. What is this? Okay. All right. A huge chunk of the deck just fell right on the ground. I will take these. All right, we have the Knight of Swords, the Two of Wands, the Empress, the Chariot, and the Six of Cups. I feel like there's a change in the way that you are seeing yourself. And I feel like your higher self has stepped in or is stepping in on your behalf to help you to remove yourself from a difficult situation that kept kind of playing out in the same way, even if it was with different people or in a different environment, or it was just in your head. Like they're kind of showing me that you have these options about where you can go from here and how you can move forward with that feeling of confidence and security and believing in yourself and being able to achieve what it is that you've set out to here. And I'm hearing something about not being held back or not allowing other people to hold you back, especially if they don't meet your standards. Something about that being significant as well. But I just get this feeling that you've been kind of like looking down on yourself now, and that kind of goes in two directions here, like looking down on yourself with this bird's eye view as the observer on the outside, looking in objectively as the higher self observes through as the witness consciousness. But also maybe there's been that self-critic or that internal judge that's been looking down on yourself, or you've had people looking down on you because you feel like there's something there that's not good enough, that you've been trying to practice, but you felt like there was failure there. This is the type of reading where you're going to need to do some interpretation yourself, because Spirit is kind of giving us the bare bones of it, but it's kind of like trying to take the bones of something that you've never seen and figure out what the actual animal looked like we're seeing with dinosaurs. Like, they actually had feathers. Whoops, we thought they were lizards. Or they had these amazing colors and things like we had no idea, because it's really hard to take the bare bones of something and then see the full fleshy design of what it could be. So I'm going to leave a lot of this up to you. Those of you who have been drawn to this reading, hopefully you'll be able to take what these messages are and apply them to how they fit in your life and to see how this is meant to guide you. But I'm seeing that there is a decision here. Oh, and you're going to decide definitely yes. Okay, so it says decide. It's time to clearly make a decision about what you want, and you have the Two of Wands here. So this is also a decision about a direction or a path that you can take, something that's opening up to you. And you've got right underneath that, definitely yes. Definitely yes. So I feel like if you have two options, you're going to know which one is the definite yes for you. The answer to your question is a strong yes. And they're pointing me back to the believe in yourself card. So the more that you're able to believe in yourself, the more confident you'll be in controlling this, because they're showing me the clicking of the controller again. Like, you'll be able to make the decision to, I'm going to stop pressing play or repeat on that episode, on that experience, on that symptom, on that trigger. I'm going to stop pressing replay or allowing that to replay. If somebody else has got their finger on the button, you're saying, I'm gonna do something different here. I'm gonna choose something different here. And with that choice comes a new direction that enables you, is kind of what this feels like here, to evolve. Like, you're able to move outside of a previous state of existence or experience. Like, it felt like you were kind of stuck practicing, like stuck in the perpetual child learning stage of something. You've got the child here, and the Six of Cups is the past. And I'm seeing it specifically here as this like childlike mindset. And I'm not saying that you have a childlike mindset. I'm saying that there's like a part of the self. This could be an archetypal inner child aspect. And we have many different kinds: the magical inner child, the wounded inner child, the orphaned inner child, all of these different things that has needed your motherly attention to help it to succeed where it feels like it has failed. And because of that failure, becomes stuck in repetition, but not necessarily evolution. And this repetition, this practice, not leading to an upgrade in skills. Now, I'm wondering why. And they're pointing me to the realist message, becoming the realist one in the room, the realist in the land. Again, something about land and room taking up space. This child is in the bedroom. This Nine of Swords is in the bedroom. becoming the realist, being able to say yes in an empowered way. Saying an emphatic yes, I'm hearing, to what charges you, to the choices that invigorate you and make you feel more powerful. And taking the power away from the things or the people or the habits or the patterns or the episodes of this show, of your life, that you could not, for whatever reason, move on from or seem to evolve out of. This inquiry at work, I was initially interpreting it as an inquiry of something at work going on, but it could even be an inquiry is at work, meaning it's going on right now. There's an inquiry. Yeah, I'm getting a pitch change in my right ear, so thank you. That's confirmation. It's like a self-analysis, but this self-analysis may have led to paralysis. And it's time now to take some action, to dive in. I'm curious what you're being encouraged to dive into here. I'm hearing upgrading your skills. What area? Yeah, okay. The lizard and the pitcher plant, stagnation. This is getting you out of the stagnation that was a result of continuing to reassess the same thing, to look at that same episode, or to be triggered in the same way by something that it wasn't, it just feels like it wasn't helping you to evolve, or that part of you was like frozen in time. That inner child aspect was frozen in time. Maybe you have grown and evolved in many ways and gained confidence in many other areas of your life and practiced and grown and become more effective in your work, or become more effective in your way of expressing yourself, or having confidence or believing. And, not but, because it doesn't negate that work that you've done. And you can still have these parts of the self that were stuck in fear, or trapped in time, in the mind. We have the horse and bluebell, modest fortitude. Well, I like that you have the horse here, because the chariot is also here. And I did choose this other unicorn deck, which is unicorns or horses. Oh yeah, this one, the chariot, it's a unicorn as well. Unicorn energy. Very special inner child. The special inner child. They're saying something about stand alone. Do you feel like you stand alone, or is this a standalone issue? Do you feel like this is something you've had to deal with on your own? You've had to stand alone in it? Yeah, it's kind of something like that. So modest fortitude, modest fortitude. So what is this? I want to ask Spirit, what is this that was going on behind the scenes that was not to your standard of living, that was preventing you from feeling charged up and in control and able to move to the next episode, to the next chapter of your life? Oh, they said what was taking up real estate in your mind. So this is a really highly psychological reading. At first I was like, is this literal? Is this something that's physically going on? The deeper we're getting into it, they're saying, yes, there are literal implications here about how this would show up for you, or how this would manifest, how it would culminate in the effect of these causes that were occurring internally or unfolding internally. But most of what I'm seeing here is deep within the self. Okay, the butterfly and snowdrop with hope. So feeling hopeless, or unable to have hope in yourself, in your ability to practice something and to get past the stage of the beginner, to feel like you've learned or even mastered the lesson appropriately and able to move on. Maybe this is not being quite so hard on yourself. Creative ingenuity and feeling like you can creatively and ingeniously, with ingenuity here, obviously, be able to move over these obstacles, past or through, actually, they're saying through these obstacles, rather than getting stuck at these forks in the road. But I want you, and Spirit is asking you to look at where you've been devotion, the sheep and blackberry, it's reminding me of black sheep energy. I was actually seeing synchronicities about black sheep earlier today, and it stood out to me. So where did you feel that you were the black sheep? And I'm hearing in keeping with something. In keeping with what? Oh, in keeping. Keeping the inn. Renting the rooms, showing the rooms, but not owning them. This is all highly, highly symbolic. Not feeling like you fit in, and therefore that you didn't have control in a certain area of your life, or in this area of your personality, even your sense of self, or what you could accomplish as a result of that. So asking yourself where you have been devoted to, in this way, unconsciously keeping yourself small to protect yourself is actually what it feels like. It's almost like a mother, like a distorted mother archetype within the self was almost like helicopter parenting. They're showing me like baby proofing the house, but like bubble wrapping everything. And now they're showing me a real estate agent having to keep the house really, really nice and clean because they have to keep showing it to potential buyers. So it never really gets, it doesn't have that lived in feel. It doesn't have like a personal touch. It's sterile. Yeah, and that goes back to the helicopter mother analogy as well. It's like it's been a sterile environment. You've been unconsciously trying to keep something sterile to protect yourself. But in doing so, all it's done is kind of like take a lot of your energy and your resolve. I'm hearing resolve, resources, your mental capacity to trust yourself to decide and to follow through and to act on things and to simplify and not to overcomplicate and overanalyze and keep trying to restructure in these ways that really just kind of kept you feeling like you couldn't do anything right. But the truth is coming out. The truth is being laid bare here. You are given the opportunity to see where this insecurity resides, because they're showing me, they said the truth laid bare, and then they showed me a teddy bear, which is a security item that children usually have, being ripped in half. So where was that inner security that you needed as a child torn asunder? And how did that affect your ability to believe in yourself? And not just your ability to believe in this version of you, but to believe in your higher self and the capacity to trust the direction of your life, the choices that your higher self has made institutionally. For some reason I'm hearing something about institutionally in your upbringing or in the trajectory of your life and your life choices. Okay, we have some cards from the tea leaf deck coming out as well. Broken bridge, unsuccessful outcome to a problem. Where have you felt like you just keep coming up against these broken bridges, trying to overcome the obstacle and not really finding a way to get across to the other side? The ram, a stubborn, aggressive person. Box, you will receive a gift. I like that. I like that you have this box with a receiving of a gift, especially since you had that happy surprise card. Feels like there is a gift in this, and it will be a happy surprise for you. Peace of mind, they're bringing me back to that, and they're saying inner contentment, peace of mind. And then we have crib, birth, conception of a child or enterprise. I knew that child energy was really significant here because it's standing out to me a lot. And pineapple, reconciliation. This, it feels to me that there's a reconciliation that's going on within you. And this is giving you a greater sense of self-belief, confidence, self-assuredness, and then that really starting to gain momentum or pick up speed in regard to your ability to say yes or no to things in your life that you don't want or that you do want. Maybe even being a little bit more outgoing with those choices or with this expression of yourself and not needing to have to always keep it so perfect, allowing it to be lived in, really owning it, and understanding that there will be continued work and upkeep that come along with that. There will be resources you'll need to invest in that. I'm hearing the production of a whole new show. It's like you, in some ways, you're not starting from scratch, but you are reinvesting in a completely new project here. And since we did have the crib card and it says birth or conception of a child or enterprise, this could be something that your inner child healing in this regard is helping you to step into or helping you to create. It's helping you to become that version of yourself that is okay with doing it messily or with simplifying something that feels really complicated so that you can get a clear sense of what you want and what you want to create. It's connected to what you want to experience. What is this something good? Something good. I'm hearing something borrowed, something blue. Something stolen, returned to you. Something borrowed, something blue, something stolen, returned to you. Okay. They're showing me the blue butterfly and it says hope. Blue butterfly and hope. Your hope being returned to you. It was stolen. It's returned to you. And the blue bell here is also, the significance of blue bell is really standing out to me. And I don't know what the spiritual meaning of blue bell is. Maybe you want to look that up and put it in the comments for other people or for yourself. To remember its significance. I'm hearing something about remembering its significance. I'm also seeing the lizard's tail being blue. So the color blue, really significant here. And this correlates to me to the throat chakra, which is all about self-expression, authenticity. The realest one in the room is the one whose throat chakra is open and healthy and balanced. You do have that Knight of Swords. So practicing communication could be part of this. And that's funny that they say that because now that that's coming up, because earlier when the practice card came out, I didn't say it, but I did see the scene in Pride and Prejudice where basically Elizabeth and Mr. Darcy are having a conversation about how he's saying, I'm not very good at conversing with people that I don't know. And she's like, well, I'm not very good at playing the piano, but that's really my fault. If I practiced more, I probably would be. So why don't you just practice more and you'll be better at it? It's a very flippant sort of backhanded conversation, but there is some truth in it. The more that we practice something, the better we do get at it. Even if it's something that is uncomfortable to us if we practice it enough times. It's like exposure therapy almost. It can help you to kind of like face that fear, especially if it's something that's going on mentally. Let me see. Quill. Okay. So the fact that you have quill here, and on the underneath you've got one step at a simplicity. Underneath that you have one step at a time. That's why I said that. So okay, hold on. Let me take this one bite at a time. The quill, get back to basics. So you're needing to look at something in its most rudimentary form and taking this side and putting it back together. Or taking the device and the charger and plugging it in. Like, it doesn't have to be super complicated, because I feel like this process, somehow it did become overcomplicated, and some of these very basic aspects of evolution fell through the cracks because of this overcomplication of the process. Spinning in circles, they're saying something about spinning in circles. You get dizzy and you lose track of where you are. You become ungrounded, and then you're unable to move forward, because if you've ever spun your head on a baseball bat and then tried to run in a straight line, it's really difficult to do. So of course, that's going to feel like no matter how many times I do that, I fail, because that's hard. That's something that's hard to practice and then get better at. I mean, I'm sure you probably could, but if you take it back to basics and you stop spinning in a circle, maybe just take that element out of it, you'll be a lot better at seeing where you are and grounded into your reality, then moving forward. So simplicity, put your energy into the basics and let go of excess. So these two are both talking about the basics. They're both talking about getting back to the basics here. Really, really, really boiling it right down. One step at a time, lots of little steps make big dreams come true. And they're showing me a child learning to walk for the first time. They have to, it's like this very rudimentary movement that we all kind of take for granted once we know how to do it. But a child has to fall down so many times to even just be able to stand up, let alone start that movement of walking and balancing and being able to coordinate one step at a time. So there's something here that you're kind of like, it feels like you're getting out of your own way here. And through the devotion to your healing and to your imagination of what could be, you're able to move on from something that was still lingering around or haunting you, or that was replaying, that wasn't really necessary to continue in that vein. It's time to take up new real estate. I just heard it's time to take up new real estate, to take up space, to show yourself, to be known, to move on or forward, leaving the past in the past. But taking that past version of you gently in your arms, nurturing and caring for them so that they are able to grow up and come and evolve with you. You don't leave that part of yourself, your child self, in the past. You leave the experiences that kept them stunted there in the past. The episode is over. They just said it again. The episode is over. And then from there, you're able to move on and imagine an entirely new landscape for yourself, an entirely new world. One filled with hope and peace of mind and confidence and a sense of control. They're talking about something that lingers from the past, control that lingers from the past. Or are you talking about whatever this was lingering from the past? I feel like I gotta get a card on this because I'm not hearing an answer. And it's not becoming clear to me just yet. kite, vacation. I'm seeing somebody say, go fly a kite. I did see somebody flying a kite today. But you know what was weird? I was driving home and I saw a kite flying in the air next to some train tracks. And I looked and I was like, oh, cool. Who's flying a kite next to the train tracks? I was like, that's weird. And I looked and I couldn't see anybody holding the kite. I couldn't see a person flying that kite. All I could see was the kite and then the ground and these train tracks. And I was like, what? Who's holding the kite? How did it get up there? If it was just tied off, how did it get lift on its own? As soon as I said that, I heard, you are the wind beneath my wings. And I'm seeing the mother here helping to kind of like uplift the child, like an updraft, and helping to carry through belief the child up. So this feels like some reparenting, or if you have children, this could apply to them. But I'm seeing a large aspect here being connected to some healing of some temperamental parts of the self. And I say temperamental because what they're showing me is kind of like this child part of the self feeling frustrated and overwhelmed and then becoming stubborn and aggressive like a child would having a temper tantrum. Like, no, I can't do it. I've tried. It doesn't work. But this child version of the self, this aspect, just needs a little bit more encouragement. Gentle, compassionate encouragement is what I'm hearing. That will help to overcome that fear or that doom and gloom. And they're saying something about an episode, doom and gloom episode. It helps bring the hope back to life again. And that charges your battery. That makes you feel confident to show up and step out, to take up space in the room, to be the real you, to own whatever you are or want to be. And you don't have to start from scratch with that. But you do have to take some time here, is what it feels like, to kind of take a look at these parts of the self, where they reside, what they need from you, where you're trying to go, and where that part of you doesn't want to go there or feel comfortable going there yet. And what they need to feel safe, and as though it's possible is what I'm hearing, as though it's actually possible for you and them to come along with you to go there. Maybe there's even a part of the self that feels like, if I grow up and I step into this new role or this new position, or I get some kind of recognition, or I start this thing, that part of me is not going to be able to come with me. Like that younger version of you is like, I don't fit into that. So what happens to me? I just get abandoned. And this is where that archetypal mother within the self needs to step forward and say, no, child, you come with us. You evolve with us. You are worthy of coming right along. And we're going to help you. They're showing me somebody teaching someone to fly a kite. Like, we're going to help you. We're going to show you how to do this. We're going to teach you the basics so that you feel confident in your ability to step up into this new position, into this new role, into this new job, into this new self-expression, into this confidence. And from there, you are going to grow right along with us. And we are becoming an entirely new version of self that we've never been before. As you've done before and as you will do again. This is the process of evolution. So just taking it one step at a time right now to get out of that analysis paralysis, bring it right back to its base form so that you can see the solution to the obstacle that's been there all along, but maybe some of that stubbornness or fear or indecision or insecurity was blocking that creative insight from coming forward to you, presenting itself and saying, hey, here's the solution. I'm the solution. You're the solution. We are the solution. And we've also been the problem. We are always our own solution and our own problems. It's just about how we handle it. They're showing me a tackle box and they're saying box and happy surprise, a tackle box, like you're able to tackle something, or you're able to then to know what to use in which situation to get a desired result. And to feel like something, and to not feel like something that you've wanted is on the other side of itself from you. Is that, yeah. They said something about curling under. They're showing me the horns and the tail, something about curling under, the way that the horns or the tail curl under. And it feels like fear, tail curling under, where fear, like dogs they put their tails between their legs, where you have felt anxious and where, like a dog that's scared, you need to build trust with that part of the self so that it trusts and can have confidence to play, go out, do, be. I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's it. I mean, we're already at like 50 something minutes, so I'm going to stop here. It's bedtime for me. And I hope that whatever this is that we've been talking about is something that you're able to put to bed, and that you will rest easy and get a great night's sleep, maybe for once, because whatever this was that has been haunting you behind the scenes or behind closed doors, that you've been dealing with behind closed doors, is now able to be aired out, and you are refreshed with this new perspective, new hope, new direction within yourself and your healing journey. That's my hope anyway. Take what resonates, leave the rest. These are general readings, but Spirit will always draw people to the readings for the messages that they need. Let me know how you interpret this or what it evoked within you if you feel called to. If you don't want to share, you are not obligated to do so, of course. But I do enjoy getting to see how the messages apply and getting insight from you guys as well about some connection of the dots within these messages that I don't always see at the time that I'm reading it, or even when I'm editing it. So rewatching it and seeing your guys' perspective is helpful as well. Anyways, I love you guys. I'm wishing you the best on this healing journey. I hope that your inner child feels held, safe, confident, secure, and charged up, and that you have a renewed sense of hope for a direction that you want to take in the future that's really built on your own self-belief. Okay, we'll see you in the next reading. Bye.